Let me ask you something. Why do so many relationships start with passion but end in pain? Why do people who once couldn't go a day without talking suddenly become strangers? Most people believe love is enough, that if you find the right person, everything will just work out. But here's the truth. Love on its own is not enough. It's never been enough. If you've ever felt like no matter how much love you give, it's never returned the way you expect. If you've ever questioned why relationships that felt so right ended so wrong, then stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you won't just understand love. You'll understand how to build a relationship that actually lasts. The problem is, we were never taught how to love. We were shown love in movies, in fairy tales, and stories that always end with happily ever after. But what happens after? No one talks about the days when love feels ordinary, when the butterflies fade, when arguments replace affection. That's when most people think something is wrong. But here's what they don't realize. True love begins after the honeymoon phase. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. And the first step to a truly healthy relationship, it's not finding the right person. It's understanding love itself. The hardest truth about love. People think love is this magical force that should always feel effortless. But here's the brutal truth. Love is not just about feeling good. It's about understanding, sacrifice, and growth. The reason so many relationships fail is because people expect love to do all the work for them. They think if it gets hard, it must not be real love. But love was never meant to be easy. Love was meant to grow you. Psychology proves that our brains crave comfort. We want things to be simple, but real love, it forces you to confront your weaknesses. It holds up a mirror and makes you face parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. It's why so many people run when things get tough, not because they don't love their partner, but because they don't want to face themselves. But here's what most people don't understand. When love challenges you, it's not trying to break you. It's trying to build you. Why love alone is never enough. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, I love them, but we just can't make it work? That's because love alone doesn't sustain a relationship. Love is the spark, but effort is the oxygen. You can love someone deeply, but if you don't communicate, the love will fade. You can love someone with all your heart, but if you don't trust them, the relationship will collapse. You can love someone with every part of your soul, but if you don't respect them, that love will turn into resentment. A healthy relationship isn't about how much you feel for someone. It's about what you're willing to build with them. The silent killer of most relationships, most people don't realize it, but the number one reason relationships fall apart is not cheating, it's not even fighting, it's neglect. Not the loud, obvious kind, but the quiet kind. The kind where love is assumed instead of expressed. Where I love you turns into a routine instead of a truth. Where appreciation is forgotten because we assume our partner already knows. Human psychology proves that what is not nurtured will eventually wither. That's why the strongest relationships are not the ones that start with the most passion. They're the ones that are maintained with the most intention. The first step to a healthy relationship. So how do you build a relationship that doesn't just feel good but stays strong? It starts with a shift in mindset. Stop thinking love is something you find. Start realizing love is something you build. A relationship is like a garden. If you water it, nurture it, and protect it, it will flourish. But if you neglect it, even the most beautiful garden will die. Every single day you have a choice to show up for your relationship or to take it for granted. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a responsibility. Stay until the end. If this message is hitting deep, don't go anywhere, because in the next section, we're going to break down the most crucial step. The one thing that will either make or break your relationship before it even begins. Stay with me. Because if you truly want to love that lasts, what comes next will change everything. Why do so many people lose themselves in relationships? Why does love sometimes feel like drowning instead of growing? It happens because too many people enter relationships expecting another person to complete them. But here's the truth. No one can complete you. No relationship can fill a void that only self-love can heal. People chase love thinking it will fix their insecurities. They believe that if someone chooses them, they will finally feel worthy. But that's the biggest lie we've been told. Because when you don't love yourself, you don't accept love, you question it, you doubt it, you sabotage it. A healthy relationship doesn't start with finding the perfect partner. It starts with becoming whole on your own. The trap of seeking validation psychology shows that people who lack self-love seek constant validation in relationships. They need reassurance. They overthink. They fear being left, so they hold on too tight or push people away first. This creates a dangerous cycle. Because when you depend on someone else to make you feel worthy, you give them power over your happiness. And the moment they can't meet your expectations, insecurity takes over. Love should never be about proving your worth. It should be about sharing it. When you truly love yourself, you don't settle for half-hearted love. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't beg for attention because you know what you deserve and you're willing to walk away from anything that doesn't align with it. Healing before loving. Imagine this. You're carrying a broken mirror and you hand it to someone expecting them to see a clear reflection. But no matter how much they try, all they see are cracks. That's what happens when you enter a relationship without healing your past wounds. Unhealed pain from childhood, past betrayals or rejection doesn't just disappear when you fall in love. It shows up in the way you react, the way you trust, and the way you handle conflict. That's why self-awareness is everything. You have to face your wounds before they destroy something good. You have to let go of past pain so you don't project it onto someone who had nothing to do with it. A strong relationship is built by two strong individuals. Not perfect people, but people willing to heal, grow, and take responsibility for their own happiness. The power of independence in love. Some believe that true love means being inseparable, that if you love someone, you should need them every second. So you may be surprised in fear if this power doesn't feel. Those are the fear disinformation. They did not that. They probably thought it would be too big. I know what it's like too. But there's a difference between love and definitely. I wouldn't shame you from anything but from anything. Not because of the fear of individuals with someone that you might know, but because there's a difference between love and dependency. Healthy love gives freedom. But here's the truth. When love is built on need instead of choice, it becomes a prison. True love is when two whole people come together, not out of desperation, but out of a deep desire to build something powerful. How self-love strengthens your relationship. Loving yourself doesn't mean being selfish. It doesn't mean shutting people out. It means setting standards for how you allow yourself to be treated. When you respect yourself, you naturally attract people who respect you. When you believe in your worth, you don't entertain love that feels like a struggle. When you are content with yourself, your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's mood or actions. This is why the strongest relationships aren't built on need, but on want. Two people choosing each other, not because they complete one another, but because they complement each other's growth. Breaking the cycle of toxic love. Toxic relationships thrive on insecurity. When you don't see your own worth, you tolerate behaviors that drain you. You ignore red flags. You confuse attachment with love. But love should never feel like walking on eggshells. It should never leave you questioning your own value. The moment a relationship costs you your peace, it's too expensive. The way you allow others to love you is a reflection of how you love yourself. If you keep settling for less, it's time to stop asking, why do people treat me this way? And start asking, why do I accept it? Choosing yourself first. Loving yourself means making choices that honor your well-being. It means not shrinking yourself to fit someone else's expectations. It means standing firm in your values, even if it means standing alone. When you love yourself, you stop chasing people who aren't meant for you. You stop fearing loneliness because you understand that being alone is better than being in the wrong company. And when you finally meet the right person, love won't feel like chaos. It will feel like home. Not because they completed you, but because you were already whole. Final thoughts. A healthy relationship is never about losing yourself to love someone else. It's about building a foundation of self-worth so strong that no love, no rejection, no external force can shake it. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Because how you love yourself determines the way you allow others to love you. And when you truly embrace this, Love stops being something you search for. It becomes something you naturally attract. Script section 3. The power of communication. Why do so many relationships fall apart? Not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of understanding. Love doesn't break in an instant. It fades in the silence, in the unsaid words, in the assumptions that build walls instead of bridges. People believe that if someone truly loves them, they should automatically know what they need. But no one is a mind reader. No one can guess the thoughts you keep buried inside. Communication is not just talking, it's connecting. It's the ability to express what's in your heart without fear. It's the ability to listen without waiting for your turn to speak. And most importantly, it's the ability to understand, not just reply. Why most people struggle to communicate. People don't communicate to understand, they communicate to win. They listen just enough to form a response, they argue just enough to defend their pride, and in the process, they forget that a relationship is not a battlefield where one person wins and the other loses. The real enemy is not your partner, it's a misunderstanding between you. Ego is the biggest barrier to communication. The need to be right destroys the need to be heard. Instead of finding solutions, people focus on proving a point. But what's the point of being right if it costs you the relationship? Words can either heal or harm. They can build someone up or tear them down. The way you speak to your partner in moments of frustration will define the strength of your relationship. The art of listening with presence. Most people don't realize this, but there's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive. It's just sound. But listening, that's a skill. That's the ability to step outside of yourself, put your own emotions aside, and truly absorb what the other person is saying. When you listen, you're not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're not mentally preparing a counter-argument. You're understanding. And understanding is what makes people feel valued. It's what makes them feel safe enough to open up. Because nothing destroys a relationship faster than feeling unheard. The danger of bottling up emotions. Most people fear difficult conversations. They stay silent, thinking they are avoiding conflict. But silence doesn't prevent conflict. It delays it. Unspoken words turn into hidden resentment. Small issues left unresolved become deep wounds. And eventually, those wounds become too big to ignore. Avoiding hard conversations may bring short-term peace, but it creates long-term distance. Because love isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about facing it together. A strong relationship isn't one that never has conflict. It's one where both people have the courage to communicate through it. How to express yourself without pushing your partner away. Expressing your emotions is not about blaming, it's about explaining. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," say, "I feel unheard when I talk to you." Instead of saying, "You always ignore me," say, "I miss feeling connected to you." The words you choose can either trigger defensiveness or invite understanding. Speak in a way that opens hearts, not shuts them down. And when your partner speaks, don't just hear the words, hear the emotion behind them. If they are upset, it's not just about the surface level issue, it's about something deeper. Maybe they feel unimportant, unseen, or disconnected. Your job is not to fix their feelings. It's to understand them, because when someone feels truly understood, half the problem is already solved. The power of safe communication. No one will open up if they feel judged. No one will be honest if they fear an explosive reaction. If you want deeper communication, create a safe space for it. A space where both of you can speak freely without fear of being dismissed, mocked, or attacked. Love is not about winning arguments. It's about winning together. And the only way to win together is to create an environment where both of you feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Actions speak louder than words. Communication isn't just about what you say. It's about what you do. You can say, "I love you" 100 times, but if your actions show indifference, those words mean nothing. You can apologize, but if you repeat the same mistake, the apology loses its power. Love is felt in the small, everyday moments. In the way you put your phone down when they speak, in the way you notice when they're struggling, in the way you make them feel like they matter. Communication isn't just about words, it's about effort. Final thoughts. A relationship without communication is like a house without a foundation. It doesn't matter how beautiful it looks on the outside, without a strong base, it will collapse under the weight of silence. Real love isn't about finding someone who never upsets you. It's about finding someone who is willing to communicate through the ups and downs, who is willing to listen, and who is willing to grow with you. Because love that is nurtured through understanding is love that will last. Why do relationships fall apart even when love is still there? Why do people who once trusted each other completely end up feeling like strangers? It's because trust, not love, is the foundation of every strong relationship. Love can spark attraction, but trust determines whether it will last. Without trust, love turns into doubt. It turns into fear. It becomes a cycle of questioning every word, every action, every intention. A relationship without trust is like a boat with a hole in it. No matter how hard you row, no matter how much effort you put in, eventually it will sink. The silent killer, doubt and insecurity. Trust doesn't usually break in one big moment. It weakens over time in small lies, in broken promises, in actions that don't match words. Doubt is like poison. It spreads. Once it enters your mind, it makes you question everything. You start overanalyzing. You assume the worst. You read between the lines, searching for problems that might not even exist. But trust isn't just about believing your partner. It's also about believing in yourself. If you don't trust your own worth, your own ability to be loved, you will always fear losing the relationship. And that fear will make you act out of insecurity, jealousy, control, constant suspicion. Not because your partner did something wrong, but because deep down, you feel like love is something you have to hold on to rather than something freely given. Trust is built in the small moments. Most people think trust is about grand gestures, staying loyal, keeping big promises. But trust is built in the smallest moments. It's built when you say you'll call and you actually do. It's built when you share something vulnerable and the other person listens without judgment. It's built when your actions match your words every single day. Trust isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up time and time again in ways that make your partner feel safe. Rebuilding trust after it's broken, nothing destroys a relationship faster than betrayal. Whether it's a broken promise, a hidden truth, or full-scale dishonesty, once trust is damaged, everything else suffers. But here's the truth. Trust can be rebuilt. It's not easy, but it's possible. The first step, owning your mistakes. No excuses, no shifting blame. Just full honesty, because the moment someone feels like they have to beg for the truth, the relationship is already in danger. The second step, patience. Trust doesn't return overnight. It takes time. It takes consistent proof. It takes a willingness to be open even when it's uncomfortable. And the most important step, change. Apologies are meaningless without change. If your words say one thing but your actions say another, trust will never be restored. The balance of trust and independence. Some people confuse trust with control. They think, if I know everything my partner is doing, I can trust them. But trust isn't about monitoring, it's about believing. A strong relationship allows both people to have their own space, their own friendships, their own personal growth. You shouldn't have to sacrifice your individuality to make someone feel secure. Real trust is when two people are free yet still choose each other. The cost of not trusting. When trust is missing, love becomes exhausting. Every conversation feels like an interrogation. Every mistake feels like a betrayal. Every moment apart feels like a threat. Over time, this constant tension drains the relationship. It replaces joy with anxiety, and eventually even the deepest love can't survive in a space where trust doesn't exist. How to strengthen trust every day. Trust isn't built once, it's built daily. Be transparent. Hiding things, even small things, creates distance. True intimacy comes from openness. Keep your word. When you promise something, follow through. Even the smallest commitments matter. Give the benefit of the doubt. Not every mistake is a betrayal. Learn to differentiate between real red flags and simple human flaws. Trust yourself. The more secure you are within yourself, the less you'll feel the need to question everything in your relationship. Communicate without fear. If something bothers you, talk about it. Silence creates assumptions, and assumptions create problems that were never there. Final thoughts. Trust is the glue that holds love together. Without it, everything else crumbles. Love isn't just about choosing someone. It's about choosing to believe in them day after day. It's about creating a relationship where both people feel safe, secure, and free to love without fear. Because when trust is unshaken, love has the power to grow stronger than ever. What happens when love exists but respect fades? Can a relationship truly survive when one person feels unvalued, unheard, or unseen? Love may bring two people together, but respect determines whether they stay together. Because without respect, love turns into obligation, affection turns into routine, and over time, one or both people begin to feel more like an afterthought than a priority. Respect isn't just about how you treat someone in the good times. It's about how you treat them when things are difficult, when emotions run high, when frustration takes over. That's when true character is revealed. The subtle ways respect fades. Most relationships don't lose respect overnight. It happens slowly, in small, unnoticed moments, in words spoken carelessly, in gestures that go unappreciated. It happens when someone interrupts instead of listens. It happens when sarcasm replaces kindness. It happens when personal ambitions are prioritized while the relationship is ignored. Disrespect isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent neglect. It's failing to acknowledge effort. It's treating the other person as if they'll always be there, no matter how little they receive in return. Over time, this builds resentment. One person starts feeling invisible, unimportant, like their feelings, thoughts, and contributions don't matter. And once someone feels unappreciated for too long, they stop trying. Respect is more than just kindness. People often think of respect as just being polite, saying please and thank you, speaking in a calm voice. But respect runs much deeper than words. Respect is about valuing someone's experience. It's about considering their perspective, even when you don't fully agree. It's about treating them as an equal partner, not someone to be controlled, dismissed, or taken for granted. In a relationship built on respect, no one feels less than. Both people feel heard. Both people feel like their emotions are valid. Because nothing destroys love faster than feeling insignificant in the eyes of the person you care about most. The power of valuing your partner. A simple truth. People stay where they feel valued. They give more when they feel appreciated. They open up when they feel safe. When someone feels respected, they don't have to ask for effort. It's given naturally. Because respect fuels connection. It strengthens love. It makes someone want to be the best version of themselves, not out of fear, but out of admiration. And admiration is powerful. It's what keeps the fire alive when the initial passion fades. It's what makes two people continue choosing each other, even through challenges. How disrespect destroys connection. Disrespect in a relationship doesn't always come in the form of yelling or insults. Sometimes it's subtle. It's rolling your eyes when they speak. It's dismissing their concerns with, "You're overreacting." It's refusing to acknowledge when you've hurt them. Over time, these small moments create a distance that love alone can't bridge. Because love cannot survive where someone feels belittled. When a person feels disrespected, they start shutting down. They stop sharing their thoughts because they don't feel heard. They stop putting in effort because it feels pointless. And eventually, they stop caring because being unheard for too long makes someone emotionally disconnect. The secret to earning respect in a relationship: respect isn't demanded, it's earned. It's earned through consistency, through reliability, through treating your partner with dignity in both words and actions. Here's how to create a relationship where respect is never lost. Speak with care. Even in disagreements, choose words that uplift, not words that tear down. Listen to understand. Don't listen just to respond. Listen to hear what the other person is truly feeling. Honor boundaries. Everyone has limits. Knowing and respecting your partner's emotional, physical, and mental boundaries strengthens trust. Show appreciation. No one likes feeling taken for granted. A simple, "I see your effort and I appreciate it," can make a world of difference. Value their perspective. You don't have to agree on everything, but you do have to respect that their views, feelings, and experiences are valid. What respect looks like in daily life. Respect isn't shown in grand gestures, it's shown in daily actions. It's in remembering small details because they matter to your partner. It's in defending them when others speak negatively. It's in treating them with the same kindness in year 5 as you did on day 1. Because true respect doesn't fade over time. It doesn't disappear when comfort sets in. It doesn't vanish when challenges arise. It stays. Final thoughts. Love is the heart of a relationship, but respect is the backbone. Without it, even the strongest love will bend under the weight of neglect, criticism, and indifference. A healthy relationship isn't built on just attraction, passion, or shared interests. It's built on the deep understanding that the person beside you is worthy of being heard, worthy of being valued, and worthy of being treated with care. Because when two people respect each other fully, love has the space to grow in ways that last a lifetime. How many relationships have fallen apart not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of understanding? How many people have walked away not because they stopped caring, but because they never felt truly heard? Communication is the heartbeat of a healthy relationship. It's the bridge between two minds, two hearts, two different perspectives. And when that bridge is strong, love flows effortlessly. But when that bridge weakens, when words turn into arguments, when silence replaces connection, when emotions go unspoken, that's when relationships begin to break down. The way you communicate determines whether your love will thrive or whether it will crumble under the weight of misunderstandings. The danger of assumptions. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is assuming they know what the other person is thinking. They assume their partner should just know what they need, what they feel, what's bothering them. But here's the truth. No one is a mind reader. Unspoken expectations lead to disappointment. Assumptions lead to resentment. And when two people stop expressing their thoughts openly, they begin to drift apart. Not because they don't love each other, but because they no longer understand each other. A relationship doesn't suffer from too much communication. It suffers from the lack of it. Because what isn't spoken builds up. Small frustrations turn into deep wounds. Simple misunderstandings turn into massive conflicts. And before they know it, two people who once felt close now feel miles apart. The art of listening. More than just hearing. Most people think communication is about talking, about making their point, about being heard. But real communication isn't just about speaking. It's about listening. Not listening to respond, not listening to win an argument, but listening to understand. When someone speaks, they don't just want their words acknowledged. They want their feelings understood. They want to know that their emotions, their concerns, their struggles matter. And the way you listen determines whether they feel safe opening up or whether they start closing off. Listening isn't just about keeping quiet while the other person speaks. It's about paying attention to what they're really saying. It's about looking past the words and understanding the emotion behind them. Because when someone feels truly heard, they feel valued. And when they feel valued, trust grows, connection deepens, and love becomes unshakable. Communication and conflict. How to fight right. Every relationship has disagreements. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that two people are different with their own thoughts, their own emotions, their own experiences. The problem isn't conflict. The problem is how people handle it. Some people yell thinking volume equals power. Others shut down believing silence will keep the peace. But both of these reactions create distance. A strong relationship isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about handling it in a way that strengthens the bond instead of breaking it. Instead of blaming, focus on understanding. Instead of attacking, focus on expressing. Instead of proving a point, focus on finding a solution. Because every argument has two choices. It can either pull two people apart or it can bring them closer together. The way you communicate determines which one it will be. Honesty, the foundation of open communication. A relationship built on half-truths will never feel whole. A relationship where one or both people are afraid to speak their mind will always feel incomplete. Honesty isn't about saying everything that comes to mind without care. It's about speaking truth with love. It's about being open, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about creating an environment where both people feel safe being themselves. When honesty exists, trust grows. And when trust grows, communication becomes effortless. Because both people know they don't have to hide, they don't have to pretend, they don't have to hold back. They can just be. How to improve communication in your relationship. Strong communication doesn't happen by accident. It's a skill, a choice, a habit. Here's how to build it. Speak with clarity. Say what you mean. Don't expect your partner to read between the lines. Express your thoughts openly. Listen without interrupting. Let the other person finish before you respond. Let them know their voice matters. Validate their feelings. Even if you don't agree, show that you understand. Say, I see why you feel that way. It makes all the difference. Avoid blame. Use I statements instead of you statements. Instead of saying you never listen, say, I feel unheard. This shifts the conversation from conflict to connection. Make time to talk. In the rush of life, deep conversations get lost. Set aside time to check in with each other, not just about problems, but about life, dreams, and emotions. What happens when communication is strong, when two people communicate openly? There's no room for misunderstandings to fester. There's no space for assumptions to take root. There's no silence. that turns into distance. There's only connection. Clarity, understanding. Because love isn't just about feeling close, it's about staying close, even when life gets complicated. And that happens through words, through honesty, through a commitment to never stop talking, never stop listening, and never stop learning about each other. A relationship with strong communication doesn't just survive, it thrives, it grows, it deepens with time. Because when words are clear, when hearts are open, and when understanding is constant, love has no limits. What happens when trust is broken in a relationship? Can love truly survive when doubt replaces certainty? When suspicion replaces security? Trust is not just a word. It's the foundation. It's the silent force that allows two people to feel safe, to open up, to love without fear. Without trust, even the strongest connection begins to weaken. Because love without trust is like a house without a solid foundation. It may look beautiful for a while, but eventually it crumbles under pressure. Trust isn't just about faithfulness. It's about reliability. It's about knowing that when you need them, they will be there. It's about believing in their words, in their promises, in their commitment. A relationship where trust is missing is a relationship filled with doubt, second guessing, and emotional exhaustion. How trust is built and broken in relationships? Trust is built in the small moments, in consistency, in keeping promises, in showing up, not just with words, but with actions. It's built when someone follows through on what they say. It's built when they respect your boundaries. It's built when honesty is given, even when the truth is uncomfortable. But just as trust is built in small moments, it is also broken in them. It's broken when someone hides things, even small things. It's broken when words and actions don't match. It's broken when one person feels like they are always second-guessing what's real and what's not. And once trust is broken, everything changes. Every word feels uncertain. Every promise feels hollow. Even love itself starts to feel fragile. Because when trust is lost, the mind becomes restless, always searching for signs, always questioning, never feeling fully secure. The hidden signs of a trust issue. A relationship without trust doesn't always look like loud fights or dramatic betrayals. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. It looks like checking a phone when they're not looking. It looks like reading between the lines of every conversation, searching for hidden meaning. It looks like being afraid to be vulnerable because the fear of being let down again is too great. It looks like hesitating before believing anything because past wounds still whisper in the background. A lack of trust turns love into caution. It makes connection feel like a risk instead of a safe place. And over time, it builds a wall. One that keeps out not only pain, but also the deep connection that makes love meaningful. How to rebuild trust once it's broken. Trust is not something that magically reappears once it's lost. It must be rebuilt. And rebuilding trust takes time, effort, and real change. Here's how it happens. Consistency over time. Trust isn't regained in a single moment. It's regained through repeated actions that prove reliability. Complete honesty, even small lies, create cracks in trust. The only way to repair it is through complete transparency. Taking responsibility. If trust was broken, excuses don't fix it, blame doesn't fix it, only accountability and genuine effort can. Creating a safe space. The person who lost trust needs to feel safe again. This means allowing them to express their fears without being dismissed. Proving, not just promising. Words mean nothing without action. Promises must be backed up with consistent behavior every single day. Trust cannot be forced. It must be earned. And earning it requires patience, understanding, and a willingness to prove that the past mistakes will not be repeated. Why trust is the key to emotional security. A relationship without trust is a relationship full of fear, fear of being lied to, fear of being abandoned, fear of being hurt again. But when trust exists, fear disappears. There is no need to constantly question, to worry, to doubt. There is no hesitation before opening up, no second guessing before sharing your heart. Trust creates peace. It creates a space where love can grow without resistance, where two people can be themselves without fear of betrayal. It allows love to feel free instead of fragile. How to strengthen trust every day. Building trust isn't just about fixing problems, it's about making sure they never appear in the first place. It's about protecting the relationship from doubt, from fear, from uncertainty. Here's how trust is strengthened every single day. Keep your word. If you say you'll do something, do it. Every kept promise strengthens the foundation of trust. Communicate openly, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. Honesty builds security. Be present. Trust isn't just about the big things. It's about showing up fully in everyday moments. Respect their boundaries. Pushing past someone's comfort zones weakens trust. Respect builds it. Be reliable. Love isn't just about emotions, it's about showing up when it matters most. Trust is built through actions, not words. Through consistency, not one-time gestures. Through time, not quick fixes. The ultimate reward of trust and love. A relationship where trust is unshakable is a relationship that can withstand anything. It's a love that doesn't break under pressure. A love that isn't shaken by doubt. A love that grows stronger with every shared experience, every honest conversation, every moment of security. Because trust doesn't just make love easier, it makes love real. It transforms a relationship from something fragile into something unbreakable. And when two people trust each other fully, they don't just love each other, they believe in each other. And that belief is what turns love into something that lasts a lifetime. What makes a relationship truly last? Is it love? Is it passion? Or is it something deeper? Something that often goes unnoticed until it starts to fade. Respect is the invisible force that holds a relationship together. It is not loud, it does not demand attention, but the moment it disappears, everything begins to fall apart. Because no matter how much love exists between two people, without respect, that love starts to feel hollow. Respect is more than just words. It is in the way you listen, in the way you respond, in the way you value someone's feelings, even when you don't fully understand them. It is in the way you treat them, not just when things are good, but when things are difficult. A relationship without respect may survive for a while, but it will never thrive. Because love without respect is just attachment. It is just convenience. It is just two people holding on, rather than growing together. What respect really means in a relationship, respect is not about control. It is not about superiority. It is about recognizing that the person you love is equal to you, not above, not below, but standing beside you. Respect is shown in the way you speak. It's in the way you handle disagreements. It's in the way you never use someone's weaknesses against them, even when you're angry. It means valuing their opinions, even when they are different from yours. It means acknowledging their emotions, even when they don't make sense to you. It means never speaking down to them, never making them feel small, never treating them as if their feelings don't matter. Because the moment one person starts to feel unheard, unimportant, or unworthy of consideration, the relationship begins to break. And once respect is lost, love alone is not enough to bring it back. The subtle signs of disrespect that destroy relationships. Disrespect is not always obvious. It does not always come in the form of yelling or insults. Sometimes it is silent. Sometimes it happens in ways that go unnoticed until the damage has already been done. Disrespect looks like dismissing their feelings, saying you're overreacting instead of listening. Disrespect looks like interrupting them constantly, making them feel like their words don't matter. Disrespect looks like making jokes at their expense, laughing while they feel hurt. Disrespect looks like ignoring their boundaries, assuming your needs are more important than theirs. At first, these things may seem small, but over time they build up. They create distance. They create resentment. And before you know it, two people who once felt deeply connected now feel like strangers, simply because one stopped treating the other with care. How to show true respect in a relationship. Respect is not a one-time act. It is not something you show only when things are easy. It is a daily practice, a commitment to treating the person you love with the dignity they deserve. Here's how respect is built. Listen with full attention. Put down the phone. Make eye contact. Show them that what they say matters. Speak with kindness. Even in disagreement, words should be chosen carefully, because words can heal, but they can also deeply wound. Honor their boundaries. If they say they need space, respect that. If they have limits, acknowledge them. Love should never come at the cost of someone's comfort. Support their growth. True respect means wanting to see them succeed, wanting to see them grow, even if that growth takes them in a direction different from yours. Never belittle or dismiss. Even if their feelings seem small to you, they are big to them. Respect means validating emotions, not minimizing them. Why respect is the key to long-lasting love. A relationship built on love alone is not enough. Because love at times can be messy, it can be emotional, it can be challenging. But respect is what keeps love healthy. It is what ensures that even in the hardest moments, two people never forget to treat each other with care. With respect, love feels safe. With respect, love feels valued. With respect, love has space to grow. Because when two people respect each other fully, they don't just love each other, they honor each other. And that is what makes a relationship unbreakable. Have you ever felt unheard in a relationship? Have you ever spoken your truth only to feel like your words got lost in the air, like they never truly landed? Communication is the heartbeat of every healthy relationship. It is the invisible bridge that connects two souls, allowing them to understand, to grow, to move forward together. When communication is strong, love flows freely. But when it starts to break down, even the deepest connection begins to fade. Lack of communication doesn't always mean silence. Sometimes it looks like misunderstandings. It looks like conversations that go in circles, leading nowhere. It looks like one person feeling unheard while the other feels misunderstood. And over time, those small moments of miscommunication create distance that love alone cannot close. The difference between talking and communicating. Many people talk in their relationships, but very few communicate. Talking is about words. Communicating is about understanding. It's about listening, not just to respond, but to truly hear what the other person is saying. True communication happens when both people feel safe enough to express themselves fully. It happens when honesty is welcome, not punished. It happens when there is space for vulnerability, for raw truth, without fear of judgment. It's not just about speaking, it's about being heard. It's not just about explaining, it's about connecting. And when two people master the art of communication, misunderstandings turn into clarity, conflicts turn into solutions, and love deepens in ways that words alone cannot explain. The silent killers of communication, a relationship doesn't fall apart in one big moment. It falls apart in the small things, the tiny miscommunications that slowly turn into walls. And often the biggest barriers to communication are not what people say, but how they respond. Defensiveness. Instead of listening, one person becomes focused on proving they are right. Instead of hearing the emotions behind the words, they turn the conversation into a battle. Shutting down. When one person stops sharing because they feel like it won't make a difference. When silence replaces open discussion. When emotions are buried instead of expressed. Making assumptions. Instead of asking, one person assumes they already know what the other is thinking. Instead of seeking clarity, they fill in the blanks with their own fears and past experiences. Speaking to win, not to understand. When conversations become about proving a point rather than understanding each other, connection is lost. Because love is not a competition, it's a partnership. These small moments of miscommunication build up. And before either person realizes it, they are no longer talking to each other, but at each other. How to communicate in a way that strengthens love. Communication is not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. It's about the tone, the body language, the intention behind the words. And the strongest relationships are built on conversations that create connection, not conflict. Here's how. Listen first, speak second. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. True connection happens when you hear not just the words, but the emotions behind them. Express, don't attack. Instead of saying, you never listen to me, say, I feel unheard when I speak. Words that blame push people away. Words that express invite understanding. Ask instead of assume. Instead of filling in the blanks with fear or past experiences, ask. Seek clarity. Create space for the truth to be shared openly. Make it safe to be honest. If one person is afraid of being judged, criticized, or dismissed, they will stop sharing. And when communication stops, connection fades. Choose words that heal, not hurt. Words have power. They can build or break, strengthen or weaken, and once spoken, they cannot be taken back. The power of speaking with love. Every word spoken in a relationship leaves an imprint. Every conversation either builds trust or weakens it. And when two people communicate with love, with patience, with understanding, they create a space where love can breathe. A relationship where communication is strong is a relationship where both people feel seen, where their thoughts matter, where their emotions are not just tolerated but cherished. Because love is not just about emotions, it's about understanding. It's about creating a connection so strong that even in difficult moments, even in disagreements, two people never feel alone. They never feel unheard. They never feel lost. And when that kind of communication exists, love doesn't just last, it thrives. What happens when trust starts to fade in a relationship? What happens when doubt replaces certainty, when fear replaces security? Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. It is the invisible thread that holds two hearts together. It is what allows love to feel safe, to feel real, to feel unbreakable. Without trust, even the deepest love begins to feel uncertain. Without trust, every word, every action, every silence can start to feel like a question mark. But trust is not something that happens overnight. It is not given freely. It is earned. It is built through consistency, through honesty, through actions that prove over and over again that this love is safe. What trust really means in a relationship, trust is not just about believing someone will be faithful. It goes deeper than that. Trust means knowing that your heart is safe in their hands. It means believing that they will not betray you, not just with their actions, but with their words, with their intentions, with the way they handle your emotions. Trust is knowing that they will show up when they say they will. Trust is knowing that they will tell the truth, even when the truth is hard. Trust is knowing that they will choose respect even when they are angry. Trust is knowing that they will protect this relationship even when no one is watching. When trust is strong, love feels effortless. There is no need to overthink, to second guess, to question. There is only peace. But when trust is weak, love becomes exhausting. It turns into a constant battle between hope and fear, between belief and doubt. The silent ways trust gets broken. Trust is not always shattered in one big moment. Sometimes it is broken slowly, piece by piece, through small actions that don't seem like much at first but begin to add up. Lies, even small ones. The moment dishonesty enters a relationship, doubt follows. Even small lies create cracks in the foundation, because if someone can lie about the little things, what else are they hiding? Broken promises. When someone says one thing but does another, it weakens trust. Words mean nothing if actions don't follow. Hiding things. A relationship should be a place of openness, not secrecy. The moment one person starts hiding things, conversations, feelings, choices, trust begins to slip away. Trust is built on respect. If someone continuously crosses lines, disregards feelings, or ignores needs, trust starts to fade. Emotional neglect. When one person stops showing up emotionally, when they stop being present, when they stop caring in the way they once did, the other person starts to wonder, can I still trust that you are here for me? These small moments of broken trust may not seem like much at first, but over time they create distance. They create insecurity. They create a relationship where love still exists, but safety does not. How to build and rebuild trust. Trust does not happen automatically. It must be built brick by brick through choices that prove love is safe. And if trust has been broken, it can be rebuilt, but only through real action, not just words. Here's how. Be honest always. Even when the truth is uncomfortable, even when it is difficult, honesty is the foundation of trust. One moment of truth strengthens trust more than 100 comforting lies. Be consistent. Trust is not built in one big action, but in small daily choices. It is built when words and actions match. It is built through reliability, through follow-through, through showing up over and over again. Be transparent. Secrecy weakens trust. Openness strengthens it. Whether it's about emotions, decisions, or struggles, true trust is built when both people feel safe, sharing everything. Respect boundaries. Trust grows in a space of respect. It means listening when someone says, this hurts me. It means honoring their limits, their feelings, their comfort. Apologize with action. Words mean nothing if they are not followed by change. If trust has been broken, rebuilding it requires more than just saying, I'm sorry. It requires proving through consistent action that the mistake will not be repeated. Why trust is the key to unbreakable love. Love is not just about feelings. It is about security. It is about knowing with absolute certainty that this person is for you, that this relationship is safe. Trust allows love to breathe. Trust allows love to grow. Trust allows love to feel effortless, to feel peaceful, to feel strong. Because when trust is unshaken, love doesn't just survive. It thrives. Have you ever wondered why some relationships last while others fall apart, even when love is still there? What makes one relationship grow stronger with time while another slowly fades away? The answer is respect. Love may bring two people together, but respect is what keeps them close. It is the silent force that protects the bond between two hearts. Without it, even the deepest love can feel empty. Without it, connection starts to weaken, trust begins to break, and what was once strong starts to crumble. Respect is not just about being kind. It is about seeing the other person as equal, as valuable, as worthy of care, of consideration, of honor. It is about treating them in a way that shows they matter, not just in the good times, but always. What true respect looks like in a relationship, respect is not about grand gestures. It is not about occasional moments of kindness. It is in the small things, the everyday choices that silently communicate, you matter to me, your feelings matter, your voice matters, who you are is important. Respect looks like listening without interrupting, letting the other person speak, not just to reply, but to truly understand, honoring differences, realizing that two people will not always think the same, feel the same, or want the same things, and that's okay. Speaking with kindness, even in conflict. Choosing words that heal, not words that destroy. Supporting growth, encouraging the other person to chase their dreams, to become their best self, instead of holding them back. Valuing their time, their space, their needs. Understanding that they are their own person, not just an extension of you. Respect is about more than how you feel about someone. It is about how you treat them every single day. The hidden ways disrespect destroys relationships. Disrespect does not always come in obvious ways. It is not just yelling, name-calling, or public humiliation. Sometimes it is quiet, it is subtle. It is the slow erosion of care, of consideration, of basic decency. Disrespect can look like ignoring emotions, when one person dismisses the other's feelings as if they don't matter. Controlling behaviors, when one person tries to dictate the other's choices, actions, or friendships. Public embarrassment, when private struggles are turned into jokes or used to shame. Lack of appreciation, when efforts go unnoticed, when gratitude is replaced with expectation. Breaking boundaries, when no is ignored, when comfort is not respected, when personal space is violated. Disrespect does not always break a relationship in one moment. It weakens it over time. It creates distance. It builds resentment. And once respect is lost, love alone cannot fix what has been broken. How to build a relationship rooted in respect? A relationship built on respect is a relationship where both people feel safe, valued, cherished. It is a relationship where love does not just exist, it thrives. Here's how to create that. Treat your partner as an equal. No one person is more important than the other. True respect means seeing each other as partners, as teammates, as equals in this journey. Communicate with care. Words have power. Speak to uplift, not to tear down. Even in conflict, choose words that build, not words that destroy. Acknowledge their efforts. Nothing should be taken for granted. Whether big or small, every effort, every act of kindness, every sacrifice should be appreciated. Honor their individuality. They are not just yours. They are their own person with their own dreams, their own passions, their own life. Support that, celebrate that, apologize when necessary. Respect is not about being perfect. It is about taking responsibility when mistakes are made. A genuine apology can restore what pride would destroy. Why respect is the secret to lasting love. Love is the feeling. Respect is the action. Love is the emotion that brings people together. Respect is the daily choice that keeps them together. Because when respect is strong, love feels safe. Love feels peaceful. Love feels like home. Have you ever felt unheard in a relationship? Have you ever spoken your heart only to feel like your words disappeared into silence? Communication is the lifeline of every strong relationship. It is the bridge that connects two hearts, two minds, two souls. Without it, misunderstandings grow. Without it, distance forms. Without it, even love starts to feel lonely. But communication is not just about talking. It is not just about filling the space with words. True communication is about understanding. It is about listening. It is about making sure that what is said is also felt. The real purpose of communication in a relationship. Communication is not just about exchanging words. It is about exchanging truth, feelings, intentions. It is the foundation that builds trust, the key that unlocks closeness. Real communication means speaking with honesty, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Listening with the intent to understand, not just to respond. Expressing needs clearly instead of expecting the other person to just know. creating a safe space where both voices are valued, where no one is afraid to share. When communication is strong, connection is strong. There is no guessing, no assuming, no unnecessary conflict. There is only clarity. There is only peace. The hidden ways communication breaks down. Most relationships don't fail because of a lack of love. They fail because of a lack of understanding. They fail because words are left unspoken. They fail because emotions are bottled up until they explode. Here's how communication slowly starts to weaken. Speaking without listening. When one person talks only to be heard but never stops to listen, real connection gets lost. Silent treatment. Instead of solving issues, emotions are buried. Instead of talking, there is withdrawal. This doesn't fix problems, it deepens them. Making assumptions, assuming what the other person thinks, feels, or wants without asking leads to unnecessary misunderstandings. Interrupting or dismissing emotions. When feelings are brushed aside, ignored, or invalidated, trust begins to break. Speaking with blame instead of understanding. Arguments become battles instead of conversations. Instead of solving problems, both people end up defending themselves. Communication does not break all at once. It weakens little by little. In every missed conversation, in every avoided truth, in every moment where connection could have been built but wasn't. How to communicate in a way that strengthens love. Great communication does not happen by chance. It happens by choice. It happens through intention, through effort, through a commitment to understanding instead of just responding. Here's how to build communication that brings closeness instead of distance. Listen more than you speak. When one person speaks, the other should listen. Not to reply, not to defend, but to truly understand. Express feelings instead of accusations. Instead of saying you never listen, say I feel unheard when I try to share my thoughts. This keeps the conversation open instead of making it a fight. Ask instead of assume. No one is a mind reader. Instead of assuming what the other person thinks or feels, ask, how do you feel about this? What do you need from me? These questions can save a relationship from unnecessary misunderstandings. Be open. Even in conflict, disagreements do not destroy relationships. How they are handled does. Speak with respect. Seek solutions, not victory. Create a safe space for honesty. If someone fears being judged, ignored, or criticized, they will stop sharing. Make sure both people feel safe to express themselves without fear. Why? Communication is the key to lasting love. Love cannot survive in silence. Love cannot grow where words are left unspoken, where feelings are hidden, where connection is lost. True love is not just about being together. It is about understanding each other. It is about knowing without doubt that every thought, every feeling, every truth will be heard, valued, and respected, because when communication is strong, love does not feel distant. It does not feel confusing. It does not feel exhausting. When communication is strong, love flows. What happens when trust is broken? What happens when doubts replace certainty? When insecurity takes the place of safety? A relationship without trust is like a house without a foundation. It may stand for a while, but the moment pressure comes, it starts to shake. It starts to crack, and eventually it falls apart. Trust is not just an expectation in a relationship. It is the very thing that keeps it strong, steady, and unbreakable. When trust is present, love feels safe. It feels easy. It feels free. But when trust is weak, love becomes stressful. It becomes full of fear, of doubt, of uncertainty. Without trust, love is no longer a place of peace. It becomes a source of pain. What real trust looks like in a relationship: trust is not just about believing that someone won't betray you. It is about knowing that they stand beside you, that their words match their actions, that their love is steady, not just when things are good, but always. True trust looks like honesty in all things. No secrets, no hidden agendas, no half-truths. Trust grows in truth and it dies in deception. Reliability, knowing that when they say something, they mean it. When they make a promise, they keep it. Consistency. Trust is not built in one moment. It is built in repeated actions, in steady proof that someone is who they say they are. Emotional safety, being able to share the deepest fears, the rawest emotions without worrying that they will be dismissed, judged, or used against you. Faithfulness, not just in loyalty, but in presence, being there, showing up, proving day after day that this love is not temporary but lasting. Trust is not built through words. It is built through actions. It is built through time. It is built through consistency. How trust is slowly broken. Trust is not always broken in a single moment. Sometimes it is lost piece by piece, in the smallest betrayals, in the unnoticed choices, in the quiet erosion of faith between two people. Here's how trust starts to fade. Lies, no matter how small. A single lie may seem insignificant, but every lie plants a seed of doubt, and doubt once planted grows. Broken promises, saying one thing but doing another, creating expectations then failing to meet them, hiding things. When honesty is replaced with secrecy, when openness is replaced with silence, trust begins to weaken. Lack of accountability, when mistakes are ignored instead of acknowledged, when excuses are made instead of apologies given, trust is slowly destroyed. Inconsistent behavior. If words and actions do not align, if love feels strong one day but uncertain the next, trust begins to crumble. The loss of trust does not always come with a single betrayal. Sometimes it fades in the smallest, quietest ways until one day it is gone. How to rebuild and strengthen trust. Trust, once broken, takes time to heal. It cannot be forced, it cannot be rushed, but it can be restored. Through effort, through honesty, through a deep commitment to making things right. Here's how trust is rebuilt. Tell the truth, always. No more half-truths, no more excuses, no more hiding. Trust begins where complete honesty begins. Prove reliability through actions. Words are not enough. Promises mean nothing if they are not followed by consistent, reliable actions. Take responsibility for mistakes. No relationship is perfect. But trust grows in accountability, in the willingness to say, I was wrong, I will do better. Show patience. Rebuilding trust takes time. It requires consistency, not just for a moment, but over and over again. Create a safe space for openness. Both people should feel safe to express concerns, fears, and doubts without judgment or defensiveness. Why trust is the ultimate test of love. Love can survive many things, but it cannot survive without trust. Love without trust is filled with doubt, with fear, with insecurity. But love with trust is powerful. It is steady. It is unshakable. Because when trust is strong, love does not have to be questioned. It does not have to be proved. It simply is. Have you ever felt unheard in a relationship? Have you ever shared your thoughts only to feel dismissed, ignored, or even belittled? Love without respect is fragile. It may start strong, filled with passion and excitement, but over time, if respect is missing, the connection weakens. Arguments become louder, words become sharper, and the relationship that once felt like a safe space starts to feel like a battlefield. Respect is not just about being polite. It is about valuing the other person, recognizing their worth, treating them with the same kindness in the hardest moments as in the easiest ones. When respect is present, love feels safe, strong, and unbreakable. But when respect fades, even the deepest love begins to suffer. What true respect looks like in a relationship. Respect is not about agreeing on everything. It is not about avoiding conflict. It is about how two people handle their differences, how they treat each other when emotions rise, when challenges come, when things do not go as planned. A truly respectful relationship includes speaking with kindness, even in disagreement. It is possible to have different opinions without tearing each other down. Valuing each other's thoughts and feelings. No one should feel like their emotions are unimportant or that their voice does not matter. Recognizing individuality. A relationship does not erase personal identity. Each person should have space to grow, to dream, to pursue their own goals. Honoring boundaries. Respect means understanding what is acceptable and what is not. It means never forcing, never controlling, never crossing a line that has been clearly drawn. Being considerate of each other's time, energy, and efforts. Love should never be taken for granted. Every act of care, every moment shared, every effort made deserves appreciation. When respect is present, love deepens. It strengthens. It becomes something that cannot be broken by conflict, by time, by struggle. How respect is lost in a relationship. No relationship starts without respect. It is something that fades slowly through repeated patterns, through habits that go unnoticed, through words and actions that seem small but leave lasting wounds. Here's how respect begins to weaken. Interrupting or dismissing. When one person speaks and the other cuts them off, ignores their point, or refuses to listen, respect starts to fade. Speaking with sarcasm or contempt, a joke at the other person's expense, a sharp remark disguised as humor. These things chip away at respect, even when they seem harmless. Invalidating emotions. When one person expresses hurt, frustration, or sadness and is met with, "You're overreacting," or "That's not a big deal," they begin to feel unvalued. Public embarrassment or criticism. No one should feel humiliated by the person who is supposed to love them. Respect means protecting each other's dignity, especially in front of others. Keeping score of mistakes. Bringing up past failures as a way to win arguments, to shame, to make the other person feel guilty. This does not create understanding, only resentment. Disrespect does not always come in loud arguments. Sometimes it appears in the smallest actions, in the daily ways people interact. Over time, those small moments add up, creating distance, tension, and emotional exhaustion. How to build and maintain deep respect is not something that is given once and forgotten. It must be reinforced daily, in words and actions, in the way two people treat each other in every interaction. Here's how to strengthen respect in a relationship. Listen with full attention. Give undivided focus. Put the phone down. Look at them. Show that their words matter. Speak with care. Every word carries weight. Choose words that build, not words that destroy. Apologize when wrong. Respect means accountability. It means admitting mistakes, taking responsibility, and making things right. Support dreams and individuality. Love is not about control. It is about encouragement. It is about celebrating each other's goals, passions, and personal growth. Show appreciation daily. A simple thank you, a kind gesture, a moment of gratitude. These small acts reinforce respect every day. Why? Respect is the core of lasting love. Love may bring two people together, but respect is what keeps them together. Without it, love becomes unstable. It becomes full of resentment, of frustration, of constant battles. But when respect is strong, love flourishes. It is steady. It is secure. It is a place where both people feel valued, heard, and understood. Because love should never feel like a competition, a struggle for control, a battle to be heard. It should feel like home, a place where respect is never questioned, only given. Freely, fully, and forever. What makes a relationship unbreakable? What separates the ones that thrive from the ones that crumble under pressure? Some say it's love, some say it's attraction, others believe it's compatibility. But at the core of every strong relationship, beyond all emotions and feelings, there is one unshakable foundation: commitment. Commitment is not just a promise to stay, it is a decision made every single day to show up, to put in effort, to fight for the relationship even when things get hard. It is the refusal to give up at the first sign of difficulty. It is the mindset that says, no matter what happens, we work through it together. Without commitment, love is uncertain. Without commitment, trust weakens. Without commitment, every challenge feels like a reason to walk away instead of an opportunity to grow stronger together. Commitment, the choice that transforms love. Love at its core is a feeling. Feelings change, they rise and fall, shift with time, get tested by life circumstances. But commitment is a choice. A choice to stay present, to be intentional, to keep choosing the same person even when the initial spark fades, even when challenges arise. Commitment means showing up even on the hard days. It is easy to love when everything is smooth, but true commitment is proven in the moments of struggle. Being consistent with words and actions. Love without consistency is unstable. When someone is committed, they don't just say they care, they show it through daily effort, investing in the relationship every day. Commitment is not a one-time promise. It is an ongoing effort. Every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every attempt to understand strengthens the foundation. Choosing forgiveness over resentment. No one is perfect. Mistakes will happen. But commitment means letting go of grudges, working through problems, and finding a way forward together. Prioritizing the relationship. Life will always be busy. There will always be work, responsibilities, distractions. But commitment means making time. Because what you prioritize, you protect. A committed relationship is one where both people understand that real love is built, not just found. It is created through effort, through daily choices, through the unwavering decision to stand by each other. Why relationships fail without true commitment? Many relationships don't end because the love is gone. They end because the commitment was weak. Here's how a lack of commitment slowly destroys a relationship. Taking each other for granted. When effort stops, appreciation fades. And when appreciation fades, Love starts feeling like an obligation instead of a choice. Letting small problems grow into big ones. Without commitment, minor disagreements turn into major conflicts because no one is willing to do the work to fix them, allowing distractions to take priority. A relationship cannot survive when everything else comes first. When work, social media, friends, or personal ambitions constantly take priority over the relationship, the connection weakens. Walking away too easily. Without commitment, relationships become disposable. People leave at the first sign of discomfort instead of staying to build something stronger, losing trust in the future. Commitment gives security. It makes a person feel safe knowing their partner is all in. But when commitment is missing, uncertainty grows, doubts creep in, and the bond weakens. A relationship built on weak commitment is like a house built on sand. It may stand for a while, but eventually it will collapse under pressure. How to strengthen commitment in a relationship? Commitment is not about feeling trapped. It is not about obligation. It is about choosing every day to be all in. Here's how to strengthen commitment. Make your partner feel valued. Appreciation keeps love alive. A simple thank you, a compliment, or an act of kindness goes a long way. Communicate openly and often. Assumptions create distance. Speak your heart. Express your needs. Listen to understand, not just to respond. Create shared goals. A relationship grows stronger when two people work towards something bigger than themselves. Build dreams together. Plan for the future. Be reliable. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Trust is built when actions match words. Choose love every day. Passion fades, excitement comes and goes, but love remains when it is chosen, when it is nurtured, when it is actively protected. The final truth, love is a daily decision. Love is not about luck. It is not about finding the perfect person. It is about choosing to love, choosing to stay, choosing to fight for what matters. A relationship that lasts is not one that never faces problems. It is one where two people are willing to work through them together. It is built on deep respect, unshakable trust, and the kind of commitment that does not waver in the face of difficulty. Because in the end, the strongest relationships are not the ones that never struggle. They are the ones that refuse to give up. They are the ones where two people choose every single day to hold on, to build, to love with intention. That is what makes a relationship truly healthy. That is what makes love last.